As the cases of COVID-19 continue to rise, our plans must shift.
At least 25% of the school year now entirely online.
Denver Public Schools pushing back in-person classes and extending remote learning into October.
When the health, safety, and lives of our community is at risk, we must look at the most responsible course of action.
Plus clearing the park in front of the Capitol.
I feel lost. I don't know where to go or what to do.
Tensions run high as homeless activists clash with police.
We're people, we have feelings, and we need a place to live.
She realized there was somebody right behind her.
And attacked on a Boulder trail.
I feel safe, but not anymore.
Going entirely remote for the first quarter, the state's largest school district is now keeping students out of the classroom for at least 2 months. Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight at 5. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Ann Trujillo. And Denver Public Schools' original date to phase out remote learning was August 24th. And now remote learning will continue until at least October 12th for most students. Denver7's Megan Lopez shows us why that decision was made and what else parents can expect.
And to ensure that our community was safe.
After changing the plans for the start of school 3 times in as many weeks.
As the cases of COVID-19 continue to rise, our plans must shift.
Another change. Denver Public Schools announced Wednesday that all classes will be remote for the first quarter of the school year, meaning the soonest most students would come back to class is October 17th. Here's why.
But our positivity rates have been trending higher over the past month.
In a letter to staff, DPS says its health experts want the positivity rate to remain below 5%. But just last week, Denver got uncomfortably close to that number with a 4.5% positivity rate. So for now, the district says remote learning is the best option since it simply can't meet the small class sizes health experts recommend. But
we are working to bring small groups of students identified as high priority back in person as soon as we can.
Possibly right after Labor Day. Those high priority students include ECE learners who don't do as well with remote classes or special education students. For everyone else, when in-person classes do resume,
unless we see a dramatic improvement, that a hybrid scenario would make the most sense, just so that we can really adhere to the smaller cohort sizes.
DPS acknowledged the challenges these changes put on parents, teachers, and students.
I know we are all frustrated with the lack of clarity around what lies ahead.
And more changes might come, but the district says it's taking this pandemic one day at a time. Megan Lopez, Denver7.
And here's where the other metro districts still stand. Jefferson County Schools in Aurora, they're also starting the school year online. No decisions have been announced on further pushbacks to in-person learning. Also tonight, Cherry Creek and Adams 12 five-star schools will be holding a virtual meeting with parents tonight to talk about plans.
Clashes in downtown Denver. Police today clearing out the camps in front of the Capitol building, calling this site now a health emergency. Even a school board member got caught in the chaos as officers pushed the homeless tents out. Denver7's Ivan Rodriguez is live at the Capitol building.
And Ivan, hundreds are now being forced to move out.
And Shannon, you can still see a presence from the Colorado State Patrol here. Earlier this morning, we saw people in hazmat suits and even a small bulldozer sweeping up all the trash, but it wasn't all done without a little controversy. This is the aftermath of people being moved out of the homeless camp outside the state capitol. Colorado State Patrol and Denver police wanted to close the gates. Protesters didn't comply and eventually were pushed back. One of the people who fell was Denver School Board's Tay Anderson. He was taken to the hospital and is recovering. But aside from the protesters, it's the homeless people who are left figuring out where they'll sleep tonight.
I honestly don't know. That's why I'm so distraught right now.
Mia Montoya has been homeless the last 7 years.
I've gone everywhere. I've gone to the Coalition for the Homeless. I've gone to the Samaritan House. I've gone everywhere.
The encampment at Civic Center Park served as a relief. Now, she only has what she can carry.
They took everything and threw it in the trash. This is everything we have in the world.
The city has provided shelter and busing to the National Western Complex and Coliseum. But what if they don't want to go?
Our systems are built on choices that meet a lot of people's needs. But that doesn't mean that every person feels comfortable based on their own traumas, their experiences.
Britta Fisher, executive director of Denver's Department of Housing Stability, says even though not everyone will take advantage of services, she knows there are many looking for a way out.
We have a myriad of different shelter options. Obviously, the largest ones are those auxiliary shelters of the Coliseum and the National Western Center.
Colorado State Patrol says they've moved people out of this area because of health concerns. Many people I spoke with say they have already moved on to surrounding areas. It's unclear how long cleanup and restoration is going to take. Live in Denver, Ivan Rodriguez, Denver7.
Thank you, Ivan. And as for school board member Tay Anderson, the Denver Department of Public Safety says they believe he fell, and they say it's important that people follow lawful order during these cleanups. Now, Tay Anderson himself tweeted shortly after the city's press conference saying he was shoved. The city says there's an investigation underway to make sure officers did not act aggressively.
COVID-19 data tracking appears to be back up and running. There was system error the past couple of days. Another 480 or so cases reported today, and that brings our state total to more than 45,000 coronavirus cases. Now, there is a little bit of good news today. Look at the hospital system in the state. Just over 350 hospital beds in use by COVID patients right now, and that's down 8 beds from yesterday.
Today, a judge heard the first arguments on temporarily halting the governor's 10 p.m. last call order. More than 200 bars and restaurants are hoping the judge would allow them to continue to serve alcohol past 10 o'clock. They believe they're unfairly targeted by the governor's order. However, Governor Polis says the early last call is necessary to keep case numbers down among young people. No decision has been made just yet. It could come down tomorrow.
Well, the races are back on at Bandimere Speedway. Jeffco Health Department has approved the Speedway's health and safety plan, allowing them to reopen. Now, there are restrictions, including a 175-person fan limit. Also, the size of the pit crews will be reduced. Events are happening tonight. They will be happening throughout the weekend.
Federal agents will begin moving out of Portland as early as tomorrow. Oregon Governor Kate Brown says she and the Department of Homeland Security agreed on a plan today that would increase the presence of Oregon State Police in downtown Portland. Meanwhile, the president today said some officers will remain there to continue to protect the courthouse.
They're agitating. And either they do something or we're going to do it.
The governor says she also agreed today to help regulate the violent activity in Portland directed at federal properties and law enforcement officers.
Well, the CEOs for Facebook, Google, Apple, and Amazon all testifying virtually on Capitol Hill today. A bipartisan House panel on antitrust asked questions about their years-long investigation into the power and the influence of these companies. And one of the main topics, privacy and how much data they collect.
Does Amazon ever access and use third-party seller data when making business decisions? And just a yes or no will suffice, sir.
I can't answer that question, yes or no.
Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Apple, all collectively worth $5 trillion. That is a quarter of the entire U.S. economy. President Trump said today if Congress can't bring fairness to big tech, he'll do it himself. A popular trail in Boulder today had sheriff's deputies mixed among the hikers.
A female hiker was attacked on this trail yesterday while out with friends. Denver7 Sean Toll has more with deputies hoping to find the person responsible.
Hiking in Colorado is one of the best ways to beat COVID cabin fever.
Nice to get out in the outdoors, especially now since we've been cooped up for so long.
Trails are packed with people, especially on the Walker Ranch Loop.
It's really pretty once you get to the river.
And it was down by the river that deputies say a woman hiking alone on this popular trail was assaulted.
We received a call of a suspicious male that had approached a lone female who was hiking.
The woman got separated from her friends. That's when the suspicious man approached her from behind.
He continued to be very aggressive, grabbed onto her, grabbed around her body. She was trying to fight him off. She was screaming, and eventually he let go.
She got away with just minor injuries, eventually catching up with her friends. The sheriff's office is still looking for that suspect.
Maybe in his 40s, he's a tall male, he's thin, athletic, muscular, bald, and he had a mask on.
Wednesday, they were back out looking for evidence.
I just saw a lot of policemen.
The sheriff's office wants anyone who's had a similar incident or seen a suspect fitting the description to call them. In the meantime, it's hikers beware.
It's not something I really want to worry about when I'm just going for a hike.
But they will be back for the freedom and the fresh air.
Yeah, with someone.
Using strength in numbers to avoid a similar incident in the future. Sean Toll, Denver7.